Because what do you think is more detrimental to the case? A victim's father saying there's no drugs involved, or a victim's father saying, no, one of the surviving roommates who waited 8 hours to call, the grand jury members that we were put into contact with, said there's a text that said, quote, I think someone killed them, and she didn't call and report it. To me, what's on the screen right now is way more damning and way more of a bombshell than drugs being involved or not.
And here we go.
Welcome to the freak show, the best in town.
If you're easily rattled or if you're offended on behalf of others, you're not going to like this stream. If you'd like to think past the headlines, you're going to love this stream. If this is your first time tuning in, I'm your host, Birdie. I go live every weeknight. Welcome to the Hive Mind. Kind of a curveball as far as police interrogations. I'm curious to get all of your thoughts on it. I'm going to pause right now. Just touch the like button. I gave myself a pep talk tonight. I'm not going to crash out. I'm not going to lose my mind. I'm not going to get angry because I don't understand how people can't see this yet. It doesn't mean that I have to go and rant on for 30 minutes every stream. So I'm going to do my best tonight. No promises. Now, this goes from 1965 to 2020. I saw this on X. This is talking about America's declining homicide clearance rate, which means how many homicides in the United States are solved through and through. And you would think this would be the opposite, right? We have Palantir. We have Othram. How does this make sense? How is it so downhill? I have a theory about this. It's a working theory. Don't take this as a fact. When you notice the trend from 65 all the way to 2020, do you know what started to become more and more rampant in this country? I'm going to ask you all in the Hive. I'm going to throw all of the answers up on the screen. I guarantee almost all of you are going to start saying the same thing. But what correlates in the opposite direction? Let's see what people are saying here. Okay. Savvy Rooster says MK Ultra. Teresa says drugs. CK says stupidity. Crumple Schnitzelskin says drugs. Lone Wolves, laziness. Wow, I thought you guys all had the same idea that I did. Someone said taxing the poor, drugs, MK Ultra, CP, stupidity, drugs, murders, white collar crime, trafficking, plea deals, the CIA, psyops. Yeah, but who's behind a lot of our problems? No trust in the police, conspiracy theories, education, computers. Detective Mowry says gas prices. I was thinking the mainstream media. That was my first thought. As this trend goes down, the mainstream media and their narratives and their propaganda continued to get stronger. The facts start mattering less and less. While, yes, this might say homicide at the top of this screen, it could say any other story. It could say America's declining truth for any news story ever is like this. And that's because the mainstream media is an arm of the CIA. Well, and that's a good point. Luz Theron asks, how many of those solved in the 60s or 70s were actually the murderer? Do you know how easy it would be to get away with robbing a bank back in the day? Or murder? Or any crime? Think about that. It would be extremely easy. Well, this is a great point, Unicorn of Hope. Do any of us really personally know this many violent people? Type a 1 if you know a murderer.
Oh my gosh!
Holy shit. That's wild. I was way off on that assessment. LA Mike Life says, yep, canceled the group trip of the Hive. We're not going anymore. But when you look at like solving crimes, why do this? It makes no sense. Along with, you're not going to blur people's faces in the courtroom. Yet when you release the footage, you blur it. You're not going to blur the house getting torn down or on any body cam footage, but on Google Maps and many other sources is blurred out. This does not do anything productive at all. The only reason that this is a trend is because people lie. They lie a lot on things you would never expect would be a lie, is how I see it. Isn't it interesting, though? They will blur and redact people on public cameras in public spaces when, the system is lying. But if they could expose you, if they could out you, they have no problem releasing your face and everybody next to you's face. LA Mike says no jury walkthrough benefits. Type a 1 if you were on the jury and you would have wanted to walk through that house. I'll type my 1 right now. I don't know how you could say you wouldn't want to. Okie dokie Lisa says, I want to know for a fact if there was blood. This is an honest question. I reserve the right to ask a stupid question. I don't know the answer to this. The jury, if they were to walk through that house, I understand they would have cleaned it up. Would they have marked where blood was? Would they have, I believe they probably would have marked where the bodies were, but like how much of the evidence in which they found when the jury would walk through however long later would, like how much of that evidence would be pointed out? All right. If anybody was on the live last night, we played Jenna McClure's, if you want to call it an interrogation video. And there was a quote that said, I pretty much live there. I was going to move in next semester or next year. What about Murphy? The cop says. Well, I saw them let Murphy out. All of these little tidbits that are coming out, we need to start to piece together in one collective thing. I was talking to the mods this morning, and what I would like to do in regards to Linda Lane footage, when the noise starts and we got rid of the timestamp, and we didn't know when the timestamp was, and we just took the noise of the chaos. And what if we just stitched all of that noise together? Something tells me it would come out to about 15 minutes of chaos. Now, is it a stretch to think that if you have 1112 footage where you got to put 500 clips together that Ann Taylor calls out, you got to stitch it together, that you couldn't manipulate some stuff? Oh, and there's footage missing from the dumpster cam, and there's footage missing from the car park, and right? I mean, who's to say you couldn't just zoom in on a 16.9 ratio? If you've ever edited a video for YouTube or TVs, that's the ratio of the screen. So what you guys are seeing me on now is 16.9. You just zoom in a little bit to the point where the naturally occurring timestamp is off, or you just crop it out. You get a running timestamp, and you just put it where it should be. It wouldn't be very hard to let that running timestamp just be an overlay on mismatched, stitched clips. But I would say a lot of the noise and shit that you hear, if you were to just take those separately, do you guys think that would come out to be about 15 minutes worth of chaos? Because I do. I absolutely think all of the sketchy shit between Gun Rack Guy and people that have said, they hear somebody say Narcan or Farley, and then when the cars are all driving around, I mean, it's about 15 minutes. Now, it might be separated by a bunch of time filler. It makes a lot of sense. You would put random shit or nothing at all in between that if you're going to cover it up, to cover up the delay in the 911 call, and to have a bookmark, or I'm sorry, a bookend. You need a start, which is Kaylee and Maddie coming home from the grub truck, and then you need a bookend being Molly, the DoorDash driver. Okay? That takes 15 minutes, and it turns it into 2 hours. And then the 911 call, let's not do that till almost noon. So now you've taken 15 minutes and you've turned it into 8 hours plus. Can I ask an honest question? Because if I'm being honest with myself, I've really locked into the drug aspect of this case. And I'm going to practice what I preach in the terms of, okay, well, I can't just look at this text about Dylan and the grand jury and take that for granted and say there might be truth to that because it fits my own narrative, and then discount the fact that Steve also said, I don't know why people think this has to do with drugs. This has nothing to do with drugs. Because, look, it's one or the other, right? He's either saying, I don't know why people think drugs are involved, to to protect the entire thing, right? Or the obvious other side is there's really not. Because what do you think is more detrimental to the case? A victim's father saying there's no drugs involved, or a victim's father saying, no, one of the surviving roommates who waited 8 hours to call, the grand jury members that we were put into contact with, said there's a text that said, quote, I think someone killed them, and she didn't call and report it. To me, what's on the screen right now is way more damning and way more of a bombshell than drugs being involved or not.
Listen, please. All right. So what's your first name? What's your middle initial? And what's your last name?
Can we just start with this? Clearly, this was FOIA requested or something. Jenna McClure interview. I know that this is what Chrissy typed in, but why are you bleeping it out? I'm so sick of that. That makes me think you are doing something nefarious. You can't say it's just to protect these people anymore. These people have gone onto Amazon and Netflix, and they're in James Patterson's book. They're in court documents. They're in police reports. They're on the world news. Why are you doing this to us? Why, not even us. Why are you doing this to the families? What is wrong with you people? It's a matter of national security. Don't you know? As Sherlock says. God dang it. I mean, really, that's what makes people think it's nefarious. I don't want to think it's nefarious. I want to find the truth. But when you just redact simple shit, after a while, when it's time and time and time and time again, and it's absolutely everything, when we know what these people look like, and then you're going to release footage that really shows us jack shit, and then you're going to redact their faces in that. They were just on the world news for a sentencing and a plea hearing, or a sentencing hearing. But let's redact the original body cam footage for the 911, because we don't know what they all look like now, right? What is happening? Okay, sorry. I can't.
What's your date of birth?
2003.
And what's a good phone number for you?
I just can't fathom it. So yeah, it does take 0.5 seconds after pressing play. So let me do this. Does anybody see one person blurred out? What about here? I can click anywhere on this video. Any blurring? Anything? No, crystal clear footage. Doesn't matter where you click. But no, this case, it's just going to be everybody.
Listen, please. All right. So what's your first name? What's your middle initial? And what's your last name? Okay. What's your date of birth?
2003.
And what's a good phone number for you? And what's a good address for you? Okay. So what do you know?
So I texted back this morning when I woke up to ask her to, I just asked her if she was awake because I wanted to call her something, and she called me about an hour later and said, hey, like we're kind of, me and Zach are like in my room right now, the rest of our roommates aren't answering, they're just kind of freaked out, and I heard them on the phone in the background, like talking to someone saying like, I saw somebody or something, and I just didn't know what was going on, and I was like, okay, that's weird, like I'm concerned for you guys, like do you guys want me to come pick you up? And she was like, honestly, yeah, like can you just come over? And I was like, sure.
Are we to believe that this is really happening at 11 something? That Dylan is still going on about from 4 a.m. till noon, or actually I could show you 11:49 that Dylan is still just going on about, I think I saw someone. Really?
And I was driving there, and she texted me and said, also on the way just to check things out.
Okay.
And then right when I pulled up, I'm pretty sure I rolled in right as the police were behind me.
Okay.
So I parked to the side, like kind of near, like in front of the house, and then the police came.
What time did you
Going on, and I was like, okay, that's weird. Like, I'm concerned for you guys. Like, do you guys want me to come pick you up? And she was like, honestly, yeah. Like, can you just come over? And I was like, sure. And I was driving there, and she texted me and said, also on the way just to check things out.
Okay.
And then right when I pulled up, I'm pretty sure I rolled in right as the police were behind me.
Okay.
So I parked to the side, like kind of near, like in front of the house, and then the police came.
What time did you
That she was awake, or
Yeah.
that was coming.
first time you texted her?
I texted her, "You awake at 11:20."
Okay.
iMessage.
It's two people that are actually using the native text. Thank you.
Yes, yes,
Thank you. And then what time did she reply?
I'm trying to see the time that she called me.
I think you slide it to the left. Just slide it to the truck.
Oh, okay. So she called me at 11:40.
Yo, did they give her ass of an iPhone with preloaded messages? Honestly, did the cops preload a phone with messages? And then is he about to say, what time was that at? Was that iMessage? Was that native message? And then just to make it seem more legit, it's like he's now reminding her, swipe left, on the phone that we gave you, which we are allowing you to have your phone on you in this interrogation. Because I would also say, how many other people are you going to see their phones allowed out like this for? Christ.
9.
Okay.
So that was when we were talking.
And that's when she said, hey, yeah, I want you to come get me.
Yeah. Congrats on using iMessage. Thank you. Thank you. What a weird thing.
Yeah, actually she was like, hold on one sec, and hung up before she asked to come get me.
Okay.
And then she texted me at 11:15, said 1 sec, and then at the same time I said, you guys want me to come get you? And then she said yes.
Okay. Did you attend the party last night at all? Yes.
No.
Okay.
I was at a different party, and I actually came over to that party. Later in the night. With me too at one point too.
Okay.
She went, but they both ended up at my party at some point.
So did you leave the party before or after that your party?
My party, I was there the whole time. She left before me.
What time did you leave roughly?
Let me look. I can also tell you because she was also there.
Let me just refer to my notes. Guys, look, all right, I got to calm down. I'm getting worked up over and over and over again. This case is doing this to me. Because now, she could be literally just reading even if the cops didn't give her this timeline, right? I'm saying in general, isn't it weird that this guy is letting her just scroll through her phone? What if all of them had their phones out and were able to say, this is what we're going to talk about? It's like he's giving her the opportunity to make sure the story is straight. It's not just necessarily this interview. It's a theme in all of them.
I'd say around 1 a.m.
Okay. What time did
Left at 12:30. Yeah, it was 12:30. And I was actually about to leave with her, and then I decided to stay.
Okay.
And I knew she was going home.
So in the time that left, didn't hear anything from from anybody? Okay.
No, she just came up to me and she was like, hey, I'm gonna leave. And then I had to go back and she left.
So obviously you know Dylan, or
Yes.
yeah. Do you know Maddie and
Yes.
all them?
Yes.
And are you in a sorority?
I'm with Dylan and Bethany and Phi.
Okay.
Yes.
Got it.
And I know Xana.
Right? Doesn't it? If you just were to listen, doesn't it seem almost like a role play exercise in a classroom? Like you're given this story, make it seem real. You're acting in front of your class is almost what it sounds like. I know. I'm doing my best, Ive. I'm doing my best. Oh, fucking A. I just went back to the beginning. Sorry. Oh, shit.
She is, yeah.
And I apologize. Xana, Maddie, and Kaylee?
What about them?
Are they all the same sorority?
Xana, Maddie, and Kaylee dropped the. So Xana and Maddie were both in Phi, but they dropped.
Okay.
And Kaylee was in, and she dropped. So they were all dropouts. They weren't in a sorority.
Okay.
Or they aren't anymore.
Okay, for somebody who doesn't understand the whole sorority fraternity.
Christy, so Christy says, Birdie, did you see Chandler Halderson case? Girlfriend caught him by Snapchat location during the questioning. This is questioning, not interrogation. Okay. I guess. Like what does that mean though, in regards to this? Along with everything else in this case, there's no interrogation of anybody. It's all just questioning. I guess. So what should they be looking for? Christy, like are you saying this is some sort of like a tactic in questioning? I'm genuinely just wondering.
World, why did you drop out?
Money issues or just not liking, like the girls telling you what to do all the time. I guess that's their kind of issue, I think it was. There's girls in the house that are like a part of leadership, and so they'll be like the executive board, kind of just telling you what to do, and they probably didn't really like it.
Sure.
Yeah.
That was what college was about, was not having to be bossed about.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay. But you were still in.
I am.
Okay.
And
is?
Yes. Yes.
And
yes.
Okay.
And
why would somebody not live in this right or not live?
You can get granted live out if you're a sophomore or up.
Okay.
For Beth, it was just like money issues, and she just wanted her own space, and same with Dylan.
Okay.
And Maddie's like sorority big, and so it was like perfect for Beth to like move into her house.
Maddie was.
Yeah.
Got it. So what year were Xana, Maddie, and Kaylee? What year of school?
Xana's a year above me. She was a junior. And I believe Kaylee was a senior, and I know Maddie was a senior. I know for sure Maddie was a senior. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure Kaylee was a senior too.
Okay. So Maddie was a senior, so
Bethany's a sophomore, and so is
Okay. Okay. So is there anything that's been going weird with people talking, people showing up?
at the house, like the house.
At all. Yep.
I mean, I know that Kaylee, like a month ago, saw like a dark figure staring at her in the woods when she took her dog Murphy out to go pee, and like I don't know, that apartment's always giving me like bad vibes, and we always we didn't joke about there being like a stalker, but we were like, seriously, like there's been countless times that we've been like just scared because like we hear things or.
And that's just at the house itself?
No, that's the house on Kings Road.
Yeah.
Yes.
Kaylee was upstairs. No, she's on the third floor, right? And you said that was about a month ago that she said that something weird.
I believe it was like a month ago, yeah.
Okay. Nothing else as far as text messages, social media, nothing that's
no, not that.
getting the girls Any problems between the sisters?
That live at the house or
Just in general.
No, not at the apartment, no. They're all like best friends. Same with, there's no real big problem.
Maybe stole somebody's boyfriend or ate somebody's cookie.
You know, again, seeming how, right? I see dots in here. I see, people can absolutely be put into a compromised position that forced this to look the way that it does, right? I understand that. It is a little bit odd that, she says at the apartment, not the house, right? Is that a little bit weird? If we're really going to go granular?
These are
No, not at the apartment, no. They're all like best friends.
media, nothing that's
No, not
getting the
that.
girls. Any problems between the sisters?
That live at the house or
Just in general.
No, not at the apartment, no. They're all like best friends. Same with, there's no real big problem.
Maybe stole somebody's boyfriend or ate somebody's cookies or.
I mean, probably, but can't think of anything at the moment.
Fair enough.
Dude, I've said this before. If I'm sitting there and my friends were just brutally stabbed and some cop looks at me with a straight face and goes, "Oh, this wasn't over somebody stealing someone's cookies," I wouldn't laugh. I wouldn't chuckle. I would sit there with a straight face and just be like, no. Are we going to, get serious about this? I would say something. "Oh, someone stole their cookies? Someone wants cookie from Cookie Monster? This is the time to joke?" No, give me a break. And anybody that's not going to question this, take the person that's sitting in the chair, replace them with anybody, and just have it be somebody that is a friend, a family member, a witness, a survivor, not even just this murder, any murder. And you got a cop that says, "Was this over somebody stealing somebody's cookies?" See, that's where it's like, okay, now I'm going to stand up on this chair. I'm going to come in from the top rope, and I'm dropping the people's elbow on you, officer. Give me a break.